BB4OD and straight black pride, brothers and sisters. This is your brother, DC Radical 1, with another radical report. And today, we're going to talk about the barbaric, heinous, and senseless murder of young Mahogany Jackson in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm gonna just be honest, this is probably the most heinous crime I've ever read about what black people doing to black people. The fact that this was a young woman, and I haven't found any motive for the case. The fact that video was taken and distributed on the internet is disturbing. The fact that there's 8 suspects and there are probably more people even connected with this is disturbing. Everything about this case is so disturbing, and it's something that really, for some reason, it just really hit home with me. And it's so heinous. It's so beyond what I tend to think our people are capable of. And it is so outside how I think of black people that it's made me really question how far gone some of our people are, and makes me question what percentage of our people are redeemable. I'm just being completely honest here, just being as transparent as I can. And so I'm gonna try to get through this. The details are so horrific, and for some reason I can just picture everything in my mind, and so it disturbs my spirit. And so that's why, for those who may be wondering, well, you said you're gonna do a video on this, when what's cool, what are you waiting for? That's why it's taking so long, because the more I read about it, the less sense it makes, and the more it disturbs me. And then I have to step away from it. So we're gonna try to get through this, make this report. We're gonna follow this case until it's adjudicated. And so let's just get started with the articles and see how it goes. So this was from March 1st. It's Mahogany Jackson, Birmingham woman who told family she was being held hostage, found shot to death. Actually, this was originally published February 26th. So there's a picture of young Mahogany Jackson. I've seen various pictures of her, and the pictures where she's not wearing any makeup or any type of hair extensions make her look even younger. Here she looks like a teenager. I'm not sure how old this picture is, but it says a young woman reported missing Sunday after messaging her family for help has been found deceased on a Southwest Birmingham roadside. Police and family said the discovery was made at 2:19 a.m. Monday when a passerby called 911 to report a body left on the side of the road at 17th Street Southwest and Laurel Avenue. Birmingham police and Birmingham Fire and Rescue responded. Mahogany Jackson was pronounced deceased on the scene from a gunshot wound. Her mother, Gail Maddox, posted on Facebook at about 6:30 a.m. "They killed my child." Sergeant Laquita Wade confirmed the victim's identity and said that the family had indeed been notified. And it says here a 20-year-old woman reported missing February 25th was found slain in that location. Now, I think the wording, and I understand technically that this is a young woman. I believe she's a young mother. She has a 3-year-old, so she's only 20. That means she had the child at 17, which means she was impregnated at 16, which is a whole nother story, because how old was that person? But that's neither here nor there now. I think we have to put in context the age of this young sister, because saying young woman when you're talking about a 20-year-old, you have to recontextualize it for people, because we have a tendency to society has a tendency to make young Black people older than what they are. This is a person who, if they graduate high school at 18, this is a college sophomore. She didn't attend college, as far as I know, but she's the age of a college sophomore, and she's murdered for reasons that I can't thus far ascertain. So I think that puts it in the context of where now we can understand the loss for the family. And this is a person with their whole life ahead of them. This is a person that could have gone on to do great things. We have no idea what her potential was. We have no idea what her interests were. You just never know. People, you're 20 years old, your life hasn't really started. You don't know who you are, what you want to do, what you want to be. We don't know where she could have lived and what she could have experienced. We have no idea who this young, barely woman could have become, and yet her life is stuffed out. And as I keep going through this case, I still haven't found any motive. Because once we get into the details, you see how barbaric it is. You're like, why would you do this type of behavior to someone? Anyway, let's move forward. The ordeal began Sunday when family members say Jackson texted them. He said she was being held hostage and to send police. He said she shared her location with them on her cell phone. Maddox previously told AL.com she was on her way to pick up her son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter from the airport in Atlanta when her other daughter called her and said she received a disturbing message from Jackson. Maddox looked at her phone at 7:46 a.m. and she too had missed calls through Facebook Messenger, but Maddox was on the phone, so she didn't receive the notification. She sent me a text message that said she was being held hostage and sent her location. She told her mom not to call her, but to call police. Family members rushed to that location, as did Birmingham police. Jackson was nowhere to be found at Serenity Apartments in Birmingham's Outerley community when police and family members showed up. The resident of the apartment, a female Jackson knew, finally allowed them inside, but they did not see Jackson. The woman told police Jackson had been there, but had left at 2 a.m. I know that's not true because she sent that text message and her location at 7:46 a.m., Maddox said. Between then and now, I don't know what happened, she said. Maddox said she feared something terrible had happened. I felt it in my stomach. My daughter would never say call the police, but she was afraid, and that's why she asked us to. A search for Jackson set for 9 a.m. was called off. No arrests have been made. Jackson is Birmingham's 16th homicide this year. Of course, one has been ruled justifiable and therefore not deemed criminal. In all of Jefferson County, there have been 21 homicides, including 16 in Birmingham. So that was the initial report on the case. And this must have been before they discovered her deceased. And so I can only imagine her fear. And, it's just so unfortunate because if her mother, was in town and not trying to coordinate things, with other family members, it's possible that this could have been that the police could have arrived, and this could have been stopped, but it just wasn't meant to be. So we're going to go to the next article. This is from ABC News. It says 5 suspects in Mahogany Jackson murder case denied bond amid damning video evidence. Says 5 people charged with felony murder in the death of Mahogany Jackson were denied bond Monday morning. Giovanni Clapp, Blair Green, Taja Lewis, Stenya McCall, and Arana Robinson were all held in court. Now that sounds like mostly women or females. Says during the proceeding, the state presented details of videos taken while Jackson was being held against her will. The videos reportedly show Jackson being forced to perform lewd acts at gunpoint, stripped nude, handcuffed, stomped, slapped, and spit upon. Each of the 5 defendants in court were present in a portion of the videos. So let's stop right here. These idiots not only commit a heinous crime for no apparent reason, but they video it, and then other people got the video and were spreading it around the internet, and some people were charging for the video, different parts of the video, or whatever the case may be. I'm just say this: everyone involved with the actual crime, the people that got the video, the people who tried to make money or made money selling the video, all of them should be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law, including if they have to make up new laws. I have no sympathy for anyone who would either engage in this type of barbaric behavior or would sit there and watch a young mother be treated in this capacity and you don't do anything to stop it. Everyone involved should be like, let me tell you something. I cannot express publicly what should happen to these people. Just understand that whatever you can think of, I thought of worse than that. That's how I feel about this case. It says Jeremiah McDonald, Francis Harris, Brandon Pope are the 3 other suspects charged in the kidnapping and murder of Mahogany Jackson. They are charged with capital murder. Investigators said during Monday's bond hearing that Harris is the suspect believed to have fired the fatal gunshot. A projectile was recovered from Jackson's head. Jackson's family was present at Monday's bond hearing when details of the video were given. They're shaken. They're definitely shaken. It's one thing to hear a lot of what we call chitter chatter out there, but to be in a formal setting and hear what happened to a loved one like this could be disheartening. The attorneys representing the 5 defendants requested bond. Judge Keisha Jackson said she was aware they each played separate roles, but it was a role nonetheless in the bond and denied bond to all of them. I agree with the judge in this case. I'm glad she's taking a stance that everybody involved was responsible and that no one's getting bond, and you did it. You were involved in it. You did it. You suffered the penalty. So what we're going to do here, we're going to look at the initial report that came out of Alabama.
And on your side, WBRC Fox 6 News starts with breaking news.
That breaking news, these 7 people all charged with murdering a 20-year-old mother from Jasper. Someone found Mahogany Jackson's body on Monday in Birmingham after she had texted a family member that she had been kidnapped.
Our Bria Chapman was at a press conference held by Birmingham police this evening. The chief not mincing his words when discussing this case.
Scott Thurman describing the murder of Mahogany Jackson as disgusting and one of the most heinous crimes that he's seen throughout his career. And not only was Jackson shot and killed, she was also sexually assaulted by multiple people. Now there are 7 people under arrest facing charges for felony and capital murder and also kidnapping. And Chief Thurman says all of the suspects were acquaintances of the victim. And not only was she tortured to death, some of these horrific acts were recorded by those suspects.
The facts of this case are deplorable and sickening. Saddest of all, they were made public by the suspect's decision to videotape portions of this horrific act. We hope to shield Mahogany's family and friends by withholding specific facts surrounding the investigation. However, we have determined that Mahogany was a victim of sexual assault with murder and kidnapping. There's videos of some of these heinous acts taking place. And that's something that was a pivotal piece of the investigation.
And with 7 arrests in 48 hours, Chief Scott Thurman is commending the people of Birmingham, saying that you all answered the call. And now these suspects will await their day in court while Jackson's family prepares to lay her to rest. And they'll also honor her life tomorrow night with a vigil. Reporting in Birmingham, I'm Bria Chapman, WBRC, Fox 6 News on your side.
That was the original, bond hearing. And going to read the next article. All right, our next article says 7 face kidnapping, murder, sodomy charges, and barbaric inhumane torture of Mahogany Jackson. It says 7 people have been charged in the death of young Birmingham mother who was held against her will and tortured for hours before she was fatally shot. Mahogany Jackson, 20, messaged her mother early Sunday morning saying, "Send the police to apartment 3, held hostage, don't call." She also sent her location to her sister. Her body was found in Monday's pre-dawn hours under a mattress in an illegal dumping site in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue, Southwest Birmingham, Alabama. She had been shot at least 1 time. Brandon Pope, 24, Francis Harris, 25, Jeremy McDaniel, 18, are charged with capital murder during the first-degree kidnapping and capital murder during first-degree sodomy. Giovanni Clapp, 23, Blair Green, 25, are charged with felony murder, then underlying felony murder being kidnapping or sodomy, as well as first-degree kidnapping and first-degree sodomy. Taja Lewis, 26, is charged with felony murder. Sanaya McCall, 23, is charged with felony murder, first-degree kidnapping, and first-degree sodomy. Lewis and Clapper are also charged with second-degree assault for pistol whipping Jackson. At least part of the assault on Jackson was videotaped or video recorded. Thurman said the video played a pivotal role in the investigation and the subsequent charges. Police declined to release details of the crime to shield the family. So, looking here, if the young sister was 20 years old, we have people who are 4 and 5 years older than her, 6 years older than her. There's literally only one person who's younger than her, who's 18. What he's doing there involved in this is beyond me. We have a bunch of grown actual adults assaulting and victimizing a woman just out of her teens. I have, whatever the outcome of this case is, as far as adjudication, as long as these people are convicted, if they want to give all of them the death penalty, I mean everybody involved, That's what needs to happen. So I got one more video report that I want to show, and then we'll go to that real quick.
The more information we learn about the disturbing kidnapping and murder of Mahogany Jackson, the harder it is and more awful it is to hear.
Some of those suspects accused in her killing making an appearance in court today. Bria Chapman joins us now live with the latest. And Bria, the details that you heard today in court are disturbing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, Morgan, that is right. This case is beyond disturbing, and it was an emotional day in court. Now, one of the saddest details I learned today is that Mahogany Jackson came to the first location thinking these people were her friends. Investigators say they then tortured her, and the things that were described are why Judge Keisha Davis says she denied all of these suspects a bond. Now, Birmingham Police Homicide Detective Mark Green says the first stop was the home of suspect Brandon Pope. Now, that's where Jackson was beaten outside while she was naked. Officers say some of the suspects beat her while others recorded the beatings. Now, Jackson was stomped and kicked, and then prosecutors say one of the suspects can be heard saying, "Put her in the trunk," and then she was dragged naked in the street. Now, Jackson was taken to a second location, and I want to warn you, this will be hard to hear. Prosecutors say Jackson was sexually assaulted at gunpoint. Officials say she was handcuffed, beaten, pistol whipped, and then spat on. Now, Jackson's family, including her mother, were present in court today, and as they read out the evidence, you could hear them getting very emotional. DA Danny Carr says, though, this will be a long road to get justice for Mahogany, and he also explains why only 5 out of the 8 suspects were present today for the Anais Law hearing.
The individuals that are charged with capital murder, obviously, the law, the statute and the rules of criminal procedure says that their bond can be set at a no bond automatically. The individuals that are charged with felony murder, the statute requires a hearing. The next step, obviously, is there'll be further investigation with Birmingham Police Department.
Yeah, another sad thing we learned today was that the suspects wanted the password to Mahogany Jackson's phone. Officials say they even told her if she gave it to them, they would let her go, only to kill her anyway. Now, live at 5, you'll hear what District Attorney Danny Carr says he told the family today. Morgan?
Now, I'm not even sure what, that report was good to show us some motivation. I'm not sure what they wanted her phone for. I'm not sure what I have heard, and I cannot verify this at this time, is that they were attempting to get some tax money or something from her, which that doesn't make any sense to me, because it's a 20-year-old woman with a child. How much tax money could she be getting, and how you think that money's gonna be? You got 8-9 people there, or whatever the case may be. Like, I will be following this case as it goes on. I know I'm trying to make sense out of nonsense, but I just want to see what motivates our people to do these type of heinous acts, because it's really hard for me to comprehend and wrap my mind around this whole thing. So I'm gonna read this last article with the 8th suspect, and then show a video of the family, and then I'm gonna wrap this video up. An 8th suspect has been charged in the slaying of a young Birmingham mother who was held against her will and tortured for hours before she was fatally shot. Brianna Lachey Robinson, 23, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping, and the slaying of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson. Jackson leaves behind a toddler daughter. Robinson was booked in the Birmingham City Jail at 2:40 p.m. Thursday. Warrants were issued Friday afternoon. Authorities said Robinson was among the suspects seen in videos recorded during Jackson's time in captivity. With the help from the community, police said she was identified early in the investigation as potentially being involved. Lewis was booked into the Jefferson County Jail at 2:43 p.m. Friday, where she will be held without bond. They go on to give further details. Here are the 3 pictures of the 3 males charged with capital murder. Appears on the left that to be Jeremiah McDowell, in the middle Francis Harris, and on the end Brandon Pope. I'm gonna just say this, I'm just be completely honest. Everyone involved, especially these 3 individuals, they need to go for the death penalty. And not one of them death penalties where people get to sit around for 25 years and think about what they did and, oh, I feel so much remorse. Nah, man, this is bypass all that. This is bypass all that. They just keep them in jail long enough for the type of justice that occurs when you're incarcerated to take place, and then go ahead and dispose of these people, man. I'm so tired of our people being willing to brutalize and violate each other, especially our defenseless women. Cowardly Negroes can jump and beat and smack and violate and all this type of stuff, our women. But when we need somebody to put in some work on terrorists masquerading as law enforcement, or if somebody violates children, we need some work put in. When we need some community justice done, we need some work put in. These type of individuals can't be found. We can't find them anywhere to do what needs to be done to protect the community. But when it comes to violating the community, you know, these people are everywhere. And me personally, I just have no sympathy or anything for these type of individuals, because they're destroying our community from the inside out. We can't accomplish anything because just this type of stuff makes black people not even like black people, because it's hard to comprehend how we can do this to each other. So I'm gonna watch this last video of the family speaking and honoring the life of their lost loved one, and then we're gonna close this out.
8th person now on that horrible and heinous murder of young Mahogany Jackson earlier this week. Ariana Robinson now is charged with felony murder and kidnapping. All this after one of the other suspects in this case, Jeremiah McDowell, was actually in court this morning. Our camera's there as he was facing a judge for the first time. Prosecutors say McDowell shot and killed Jackson while attempting to sexually assault her. He is going to stay in the Jefferson County Jail. Court records show 6 other suspects in this case will be in court themselves Monday. Tonight, we're hearing from family members of Mahogany Jackson and District Attorney Danny Carr about this awful case and the impact it has had on them and their community. Bria Chapman is live tonight with what she's learning from that family. Bria.
Yeah, Jonathan, like you said, awful is right. But Mahogany's older sister tells me she is at peace, but she still has moments where she gets very angry after hearing from officers that at least 8 people sat and did nothing while her sister was being sexually assaulted, tortured, beaten, and then eventually shot and killed. But they tell me they will not focus on that. Instead, they will remember Mahogany and those happier times they had with her.
Long live Mahogany. We love you.
She was our baby. Like, she was literal baby. The baby of the crew. We knew Hoggy.
That's how Mahogany Jackson's siblings and cousins say they will remember her. They tell me she was the life of the party who always knew how to stand up for herself. And her family says she did that to the very end.
My girl did what she did, told us what she was, helped us out. I'm so proud of her. Like, she did something. She did something. So
I'm glad, because
I'm glad she was on her toes.
Probably would have been just lost.
Thankfully, her sending her location helped police bring suspects into custody. And now those suspects are facing charges for what officials describe as horrific, even barbaric acts. And some of those things depicted were so bad, her big sister was afraid to see her.
I was so afraid to see what she looked like, knowing what happened. And my sister looked good, like she looked real good, and that warmed my heart. Like that was the most thing that I was worried about.
But Maddox says she is angry about what happened to Mahogany, but right now she has to be there for her mother and her 3-year-old niece Nadia.
Of course, she's taking it hard. You know, I that's my sister, but that's her daughter, and that's just a different type of pain. Right. And I have kids myself, so I just can only imagine.
And what happened to Mahogany is being described by leaders like District Attorney Danny Carr as horrific and animalistic. On top of that, some of those things were recorded and they've been shared on social media. Something Carr says crosses the line.
She has to live with this forever. And there's some aspects of this situation I know that's devastating to their family. But then to see it reenacted on a video, it almost places you there. And then to see people continue to share it over and over. But at the end of the day, have some respect for them as well. Have some respect for the family. Have some respect for Mahogany.
Yeah, Mahogany's family tells me they want to thank the public, all of their help in trying to bring Mahogany home. They say they are so grateful for that, and her family plans to lay her to rest next Saturday. And again, 8 suspects are being held in the Jefferson County Jail with no bond. Reporting live in Birmingham, I'm Bria Chapman, WBRC, Fox 6 News on your.
So, brothers and sisters, that is where the case is right now. There's a beginning process of it seems like it should be an open and shut case, since these clowns were so idiotic that they videotaped their own involvement and distributed it or alone, via social media. I don't know. This one for me, it's hard to swallow. I've seen pictures of the sister that she reminds me of sisters that I know. Maybe that's why I took it so hard, and maybe it's the details. I don't know, but this one really disturbed me. It was hard making this video. I'm not going to lie. We have to have a reckoning as Black people, and we have to figure out what we can do to curb the hatred of ourselves that would make any of us do this type of thing to our own people. Black America's at a crossroads right now, not just because of this case, but just a lot of things that's been going on, and we're really gonna have to make some hard decisions about how we deal with the internal degeneracy and the internal spiritual rot that's creeping into our people, and it's becoming even though it's unnatural, this type of thing is becoming more and more of a problem, and more of our identity. This self-hatred, this heinous disregard for Black life is becoming more and more of who we are, and we have to address it before it becomes who we are as the generations go on. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will definitely keep our eyes on this case, and I may even talk about this more extensively as part of a live stream, because I'm just so disturbed by this. I don't even know what to do or what to say, but to my heart goes out to the family of young Mahogany and her daughter, her family, and I hope they can some type of way find some healing. And we just have to find a way to we can't have these type of things happen in our community. We got a lot of work to do, brothers and sisters. So with that, this is your brother DC Radical 1. This has been another Radical Report. With that, I say a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.